Hello, I'm Dave Thibodeau with Daking Audio. Today we're going to talk about the monitor section and the studio control room and cue settings. Okay, here's the monitor section. We're going to start with the control room section, which goes to the control room speakers. We have, of course, a control room volume and a cut for the control room. And there is a dim where you can select a dim. The dim level we'll show you in a little bit here. Mono, where you can mono the send to the control room. The next set of buttons are all intercanceling, where you can select the signal you're listening to. Here we got the stereo bus. We can listen to the 2-track 1, 2-track 2, any of the aux sends, aux 5 and 6 we actually have signal. And these are intercanceling, but you can also sum them if you like. Or maybe just these two, which is very handy little feature. And then at the very top we have the studio listen mic. This is where you can put a microphone out in the studio. We have a mic pre and a compressor built in the center section to get you a good studio listen mic. Over here on our left, we have the 3 speaker relays for 3 different monitors. Main monitor, Alt 1, Alt 2, where you can choose what speaker you're listening to. So I'm going to go back to, so you can hear that that's actually changing. There we go. Up here on the module, this is our studio listen mic gain for the studio listen mic. To the right of it, we have our dim level. You can see if I select the dim, this allows me to adjust the level of the dim. Then the next row to the right is all about the studio section. And we'll discuss that later here. So we're going to discuss this part. Really handy feature, you can say follow control room. So you can have the studio send be whatever you've selected in the control room section. Then, of course, the auxes or any combination and stereo bus. So you can send the stereo bus out to the studio speakers. Then we have Talkback. You can talk back to the studio speakers by themselves. Of course, the dim in the control room goes down when you do that. And of course, we have a cut and a volume control for the studio speaker level. The far right strip, we have the cue levels. Here you have the level to the main cue send and a mute, of course. Our talk back to cue, just cue. We have a solo cue. Here's where you can solo in the monitor section what's going out to the cue bus. And you can select stereo bus, 2-track 1, 2-track 2, etc. And aux 3, 4, 5, 6, just like all the other monitor sections, and follow control room. At the very top, we have the talkover level. This is where I'm going to solo the cue. Oh, and the music stops. Well, what this is for is it allows you to dim the music when you talk back to it, so that you can set the level of the music so it doesn't quite go away. This is very handy when you're doing a multi-track recording session and the musicians hate it when you talk to them and they lose what they're twiddling on their guitars. So it's a very handy talk over for your talk back signal. And then come on back. We're going to go all the way back now. Well, I got to talk to the cameraman. Okay, you can back up now because meter brightness we'll talk about later. The fancy meter bridge. What else we have to talk about? The studio talkback mic levels are at the very bottom. Over here, where you can set the level of your talkback mics for the cue and the studio independently. And then at the very left here, we have the talkback all. Here, back off a little so you can see all 3. There we go. And you can see the talkbacks turn on when I say talk back all. So you have one button to talk back to studio and cue. If you don't have studio speakers, you can use those as a cue send as well. So very handy.